This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Full Sail University. Coming up on Destructoid, the Tokyo Game Show is over and we've got news. Arkham City's got a new character, and Dragon's Dogma looks like it might give Skyrim some competition. Right now on Destructoid. Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
Happy Monday, Max.
Happy Monday indeed.
It is Monday because I have a fruit tart for myself from myself.
Is there a reason for this, or are you just...
You know what? I won our Facebook poll on Friday's show. We put up a Facebook poll asking who had the best fall haul. Yeah. I won with a whopping 297 votes. You were in second place.
You had Skyrim. I don't know how I came in second.
I don't know either, because it seems like people in the YouTube comments really favored Anthony.
Street. Yeah.
But I felt bad just getting a fruit tart for me, so I got one for you.
You're sweet.
Here you go.
It's also, it was Anthony's birthday last week, and we still haven't gotten him a present.
Oh, Anthony gets nothing. Let's start the show. Why don't we? I've got some news about Arkham City. Another villain just got added to the roster of characters, and this time it's Deadshot, the dual silencer-wielding assassin. Sefton Hill, the game's developer, went on GameTrailers TV last night to talk with Jeff Keighley all about the game, and to add that using detective mode will be crucial in figuring out why Deadshot is actually in the city terrorizing people.
It's probably to shoot people and terrorize
Probably to shoot people, but you never know. Maybe there's a carnival in town or something. So along with that news, we heard a rumor that the Scarecrow may be switching up his involvement this time around with the game, if he's even in the game at all. We don't really know at this point. Rocksteady's Paul Crocker was quoted as saying recently, "In Batman Arkham Asylum, we had the whole Scarecrow thing, and we didn't want to do that again. We wanted something different." So it's hard to tell if he's talking about just the character being there, or if he's talking about the hallucinations, the way he was presented in the game. You look like you have something to say.
I hope that they have Scarecrow's Harvest Time hayride.
Okay.
And it's just like a racing game where you're in a tractor with a hay. I'm dumb. Sorry.
Don't we have Skyrim news?
Let's have Skyrim news, because I couldn't say possibly anything stupider than what I just said. Okay, so those destroyers of amusement and happiness over at the Entertainment Software Ratings Board have finally gotten finished deciding how inappropriate The Elder Scrolls V is for children. It probably took them a while, considering how massive the game is and how offensive it could be. Now, according to the report, the game allows players to murder defenseless NPCs, including prisoners tied to walls. And obviously, these prisoners will scream in agony in a probably hilarious fashion that might offend some mothers. In addition to that, the game's dialogue includes some sexual references. For example, players will be offered all the whores their heart or any other organ desires. Yeah, like a wiener. Yeah.
They mean penis.
Penis wiener.
It's funny.
Anyway, there's also talk of rape and sex slaves because it's, you know, a standard dark RPG fantasy material. Now, here's the fun part. Players can also drink wine and mead, among other boozes, and they can get engaged in drinking contests, which will result in slurred speech.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So we had a question on our Skyrim questionnaire extravaganza. Can you get drunk in Skyrim? And then it was Drunken Dragon Battles in all caps. And I guess the answer here is yes. You could get absolutely shit-faced and fight dragons because there weren't enough weird reasons to want this game.
Can you get so drunk that you black out?
You can probably get so drunk you die because you're trying to fight a dragon when you're drunk.
Okay, that's good enough.
I don't know. You could turn off your TV while you're playing and just be like, whoa. You can forget to save. It's like blacking out, sort of. Anyway.
No. Okay. Enough Skyrim news. I've got some other newsworthy news. Looks like Netflix is getting into the video game business of all things. If you recall, a couple months ago, they implemented that new pricing structure that differentiated between streaming services and DVD rentals by mail, and of course they pissed a lot of people off by doing so. Reed Hastings, the co-founder and CEO of Netflix, announced last night in a rather heartfelt blog post on the company's website that they'd be splitting the two services completely. So streaming will continue to be done through Netflix only, and DVD rentals will now be done through this new brand called Qwikster, named so for its quick delivery.
And chocolate milk.
And chocolate milk.
Possibly not.
So not only will Qwikster be renting DVDs, you'll also be able to upgrade your monthly subscription payment and instead get Blu-rays or 360, PS3, and Wii games through the mail. So that's really cool. They're like going the GameFly route now. No specifics yet on pricing structure or release date, but the website for Qwikster just says launching soon. So I'm guessing it's launching soon.
I hope so.
Now, because it's the internet and there's money involved, a lot of people are upset by the audacious suggestion that they should have to buy two different movie services. I, however, thought the CEO's blog post was actually rather insightful. He talks about the evolution of business, saying, quote, most companies that are great at something like AOL dial-up or Borders bookstores do not become great at new things people want, in our case, streaming, because they are afraid to hurt their initial business. Eventually, these companies realize their error of not focusing enough on the new thing, and then the company fights desperately and hopelessly to recover. Companies rarely die from moving too fast, and they frequently die from moving too slowly. Well said.
Yeah,
Hastings.
it was really eloquent.
Yeah,
kind of heartfelt,
and people still commented pissed
people,
off on the entry, like.
You now have the option to like get the movies to shoot into your Xbox to watch them from your house, or have them delivered to your. They changed like the name. Like what the fuck are you complaining about?
I understand people are pissed off because it's now two different things that your credit card is tied to, two different things that you have to manage. But seriously, it's like this was obviously the best choice for the company, I think. And you know, I've long been a proponent of streaming. I think nobody's going to be buying DVDs or renting them in 20 years, you know?
First world problems.
Yeah. So, are you guys pissed off about Netflix becoming Qwikster or separating? Are you pissed off? Are you hungry? Are you sleepy? Let us know in the comments what you think about this situation. We're going to be back in a minute with some more news from the Tokyo Game Show, but first, why don't we thank our sponsor?
Let's do that. Since you're watching the Destructoid Show, it's safe to assume that you like video games, but have you ever thought about creating your own? Full Sail University offers a wide variety of degree programs in every aspect of game design, from programming to art and animation, and even game production. The Full Sail campus has professional-level game studios and labs with everything students need to create a playable game from start to finish, and if that wasn't enough, all Full Sail students receive a laptop preloaded with industry-standard software at a steep institutional discount. Full Sail also has a comprehensive online bachelor's degree program where you can get a degree from anywhere in the world online. In addition to game design, Full Sail also offers programs in art, design, filmmaking, recording arts, entertainment, business, and more. For more information on how you can enroll at Full Sail and get a start in the most interesting field around, head over to fullsail.edu/destructoid.
We should get honorary PhDs in the entertainment business for our contributions to the world of video game journalism.
I agree about that. Dear Full Sail, can I have a degree in veterinary medicine?
I can have degree, good.
I want to be a cat doctor. I think that'd be cool.
I don't think they offer a thing.
I don't think that's a thing. Anyway, as you guys are probably aware, the Tokyo Game Show was this weekend, and Destructoid agents of journalism, Dale North, Hamza Aziz, and Alistair Pinsoff were there. Now, when I think of TGS, I imagine lots of cute Japanese booth babes, and that's why they don't let me go there. But when I'm done imagining those things, I think of weird Japanese video games that make me feel old and out of touch with what's hip in the gaming scene. Now, one game that would fall into this category is Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure. It's for the 3DS, and as you might expect, it's a rhythm game. In the game, you play as Raphael, who's a master thief who likes to dance because video games. Destructoid writer Alistair previewed this, and he said the game itself seems to fall somewhere between Elite Beat Agents and Professor Layton, which were two really popular games for the DS. It offers a wide variety of different puzzles that utilize the buttons and touchscreen, as well as tapping and swiping and all that stuff, and there are animated cutscenes between chapters, and apparently the story unfolds rather elegantly. Now, according to Alistair, the game is the last straw for him, and it's finally convinced him to go out and buy a 3DS. So that's pretty high praise for a weird little Japanese game about a dancing cat burglar.
Sure is.
Yep. While we're on the subject of quirky little Japanese games where you tap and swipe stuff, Dale North got a chance to demo Theatrhythm Final Fantasy. Now, Theatrhythm, which I can't pronounce, Final Fantasy,
such an odd
of course,
name.
yeah. It's the 3DS rhythm game that stars little tiny sheepy Final Fantasy characters, and you have to tap and swipe along with songs from the soundtracks of all 13 Final Fantasy games. So it's basically Rock Band, but with baby chocobos. Now, personally, I haven't really paid much attention to JRPGs in a long time, and I have some of the worst rhythm of any human being alive, so this might not be the game for me, but Dale North, on the other hand, is a huge fan of Final Fantasy, as well as game soundtracks, and he is also a real-life musician who plays actual music, so he could not say enough nice things about this game. This was his game of the show, hands down. Now, finally, on a non-handheld rhythm game note, Dale also previewed Ni no Kuni, which had completely slipped under my radar until now. Jonathan Holmes previewed it last year at TGS 09 or 010 or wherever, and it's a collaboration between Level 5, who are the guys behind Professor Layton, and Studio Ghibli, the guys who made Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, and My Neighbor Totoro, and basically the best anime movies ever. The game itself is apparently a pretty standard JRPG where you command different members of your party to fight monsters and stuff, but it's probably one of the best looking games I've ever seen in a long time. I mean, the entire thing looks like a goddamn Miyazaki movie, which is crazy. But you can go check out the full previews on all these games on Destructoid.com. Go read some stuff. Go read some words from people who are actually in Japan.
And thanks to TGS, we've also got a handful of news about the PS Vita, which is just 3 short months away from release now. Let's start with the good stuff. Source at Sony has confirmed that the system will be region-free, so you weird JRPG fans should be happy about that. Secondly, expect a lot fewer firmware updates. Rest assured there will be some. It is still a Sony product after all, but way fewer firmware updates than the PS3. Last but not least, those of us expressed concern at the battery life will be happy to know that next spring, Sony plans to release an optional external battery, which should raise the total battery life from 3 to 5 hours to around 9 to 15. Now, here's the bad news. They haven't announced the price of the add-on battery yet, and knowing Sony, it won't be cheap. They have, however, announced the prices of the memory cards that you're going to need to play certain games on the PS Vita, and spoiler alert, they aren't cheap either. The prices range from about $29 for a 4 gig card to around $145 for a 32 gig card. Bear in mind, those are the prices for Japan, which tends to be a little bit more expensive than America. Sony has not announced the memory card prices for US or Europe yet, but again, we can probably expect something around that price range, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
It is.
No, I mean, it seems like we've probably been like blowing the Vita for weeks now, and I'd still do some real nasty shit to get one for myself, but the memory card price point is kind of a buzzkill.
You'll wanna...
You need a card to save your games and shit, and it doesn't include one.
No.
And there's no reason whatsoever that the Vita couldn't be compatible with an SD card like the DS is. Aside from the fact that Sony loves making up new forms of media, like the memory stick or the UMD or the mini disc or the 8-track 3 format.
Shitty RAM.
So that people have to give them things.
Money.
Money. They like that. Anyway, enough about that. In addition to previewing the cute Japanese games, Alistair also checked out Dragon's Dogma, which is Capcom's new epic open-world action RPG. Now, this isn't the first we've seen of the game. It was playable at E3, but apparently the demo there was a little bit underwhelming. I didn't hear much about it aside from Jim Sterling talking about how he beat the shit out of a griffin, and it was intense. According to Alistair's preview, there's actually quite a lot going on here. He's rather boldly stated that he's more excited for Dragon's Dogma than he is for Skyrim. Yeah, right? And
he's fired.
He played Skyrim.
He's fired.
He was the fucking intern. He was the first guy at Destructoid to play it. He's on thin ice. Anyway, the game gives players control of pawns, and pawns are your party members who you can direct in battle. The cool part is they're fully customizable, so you can pick out what they look like, and then you can actually trade them online with people. So it's sort of like Pokemon, except with people.
I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, like slavery. Ugh. Anyway, Alistair pointed out that the game's overall appearance had a really nice retro Dungeons & Dragons fantasy feel to it, kind of like old school, Dungeons and Dragons and flying eyeballs and,
like those
griffins. And that was enough to get my attention because I love that kind of look for things. But after hearing that players can climb up on top of monsters while fighting them, sort of like in Shadow of the Colossus, I'm psyched. This is badass. This game looks epic in like the most literal "fuck you, giant dragon, I am stabbing you" kind of sense of the word. So Dragon's Dogma is slated for release sometime next year, and in the meantime, you should go read the full preview because reading is good for you.
I don't expect to hear much more about that game until after November 11th.
No, people are stoked for it. It's that and Dark Souls. A lot of people are like,
Skyrim
will be good, but I want Dark Souls and I want Dragon's Dogma.
We'd a dime for every person who left an angry "no Dark Souls" comment on our last video. We'd be rich.
Look, we suck at video games. Of course we're not going to pick Dark Souls. I mean, that's like...
That game is scary and intimidating.
That's my second favorite game next to the one where you push a button and your character dies.
Yeah. That's a lot of
Anyway, that's our show for today.
That is our show for today. You can follow us on Twitter. I am Tara Longest. He is Max Scoville, and together we are DTOID Show. We need some encoder rings or something. You want to eat your tart? Okay.
Cheers, Tara.
Cheers.
Cheers to fruit tarts and video games.
See you guys Wednesday.
Take care.